What's up, adventurers? My name is Platinum Phoenix, and welcome back to Fossil Fighters Champions. Last time, we were told that Joni is a princess, and we're tasked with going to find her since she has ran off somewhere. But before we do that, I actually wanted to come to the cleaning room in Cranial Isle because Clean here has been able to clean our fossil rocks for us for a while, meaning we have been collecting donation points for basically this entire adventure. So we have actually accumulated quite a bit of them, and I think it's about time we actually go and see what we can get with them. So I keep track of donation points for fighters when they donate fossils or vivosaurs. You can exchange your donation points for fossil rocks or battle points. What would you like to exchange your donation points for? We actually have 232 donation points. And like the staff member just said, there's actually several things that we could trade for. Even more than she said, actually, because she just said fossil rocks and battle points. But first up, let's go into the fossil rocks. Because we are able to now get 4 different new vivosaurs out of this just by paying for them. And they go from very cheap, like this Lambio here for 30 donation points, to kind of expensive, like the Spino for 150. But since we are now able to get these, I think we should talk about them. So, first up, for 30 donation points is Lambio. And Lambio is actually a pretty great attacking type Vivosaur. It has good LP at 620 and great attack at 90, which is tied for the second highest attack stat we have seen. It also has an Enrage and an Excite skill to help stop your opponents from hitting you or rotating them themselves to more advantageous position. But next up here is actually a Vivosaur we have seen a lot in a different game. It's Spinax. And Spinax here is actually almost exactly the same as it was in the first game, with one exception. And that's being that it has lower speed for some reason. It went from having 20 in the original to 14 here. So a slight decrease in its speed. But it has pretty good attack at 72, being the same as Tricera. And it has pretty alright support effects, giving 5% to attack, defense, and accuracy, which are not bad things to get, especially for a Vivosaur that wants to be in the attack zone for most of the time. But if it is in the support zone, you get some decent support effects. Other than that, it gets the Harden skill, which allows it to boost up defense either for itself or for its allies, which is another good thing that it can do if you are putting it in the support zone. But after Spinax, we now have Despleto. Despleto has pretty great attack at 85. It also has a Scare skill, which allows you to hit your opponent, and if they are inflicted by it, they aren't allowed to use some of their skills based on what Scare type you're dealing, if it's the silver or the gold version. But other than that, it's kind of a basic attacking type Vivosaur with just a lot of attack and skills that take advantage of hitting a single Vivosaur very hard. But next up, and last up actually, is Spino for 150 donation points, which is quite a lot actually. And unfortunately, Spino is kind of basic for costing that much. It is a close-range Vivosaur that focuses mostly on poison skills to make up for its attack power being a little bit lower than other attacking type Vivosaurs. But like I said, other than that, it really just hits kind of hard and poisons your opponent to deal more damage, and that's about it. But now with the bios gone over, we can back out of here and look at what else we can get for a donation point. Specifically, next up are Super Fossil Rocks. And I will say that these aren't worth it. Like, straight up, they aren't. The Wondrous Fossil Rocks, which just boost your Vivosaur's stats a little bit, cost 2 100 DP each. And that's for the basic Super Fossil Rock. For the more advanced Fossil Rock that we actually haven't gone over yet, but does something a lot better than the Wondrous Fossil Rock, it costs 2,500 DP. That's an insane amount of donation points. That amount of donation points will allow you to buy every single donation point Vivasaur, every single fossil of the donation point Vivasaur, as the rare fossil. That should tell you how crazy that is. That amount of donation points. The only time I would recommend this is in the post game when you really don't have much else to use your donation points on, and you're trying to finish off what you can use the miraculous fossil rocks for. But moving on to the next thing we can use donation points for, it is the mask that we can buy here. And in the donation point shop, we can actually buy 4 different masks, being the yellow mask, the green mask, the blue mask, and the pink mask. And straight up, all 4 of these are amazing, and I would recommend buying them as soon as physically possible because they all have special abilities. Specifically, they all relate to a type of Vivasaur, yellow being ground type, green being air type, blue being water type, and pink/white being neutral type. And when you are wearing the mask of each of the type, those are the only type fossil rocks that you can find, plus dark fossil rocks and jewel fossil rocks. But if you are looking for a very specific Vivasaur in a spot that has several different types of Vivasaurs, wearing the mask of that type greatly increases your odds of finding that Vivasaur, and means getting all of the Vivasaurs for your collection is a lot easier once you get all of the masks. So I would recommend using your donation points mostly on the mask to start off, at least the first 400 donation points, because these masks are so hugely important and so hugely helpful in getting Vivasaurs in different dig sites. But the last thing that we can get with donation points, is actually the other thing the staff said we could get, are battle points. And let me just be straight up, these are also bad. So, to be clear, 1 rank for a Vivasaur is 50 points, which means you can buy up to 2 levels using donation points at a time. And this applies to every single Vivasaur that you are currently equipped with. So every Vivasaur on your team gets these donation points. But look at how much they cost. 1 donation point, or 1 battle point, costs 10 donation points. And let me be clear, 1 battle point is nothing. It literally is nothing because most battles give you at least 2, if not more. And battles are so easy to do. 5 battle points is 48 donation points, and then 10 is 94, and you can see that they're growing exponentially. 25 is 230, which is the last one we can afford. Even at this point in the game, on the 3rd island, after getting all the donation points, after getting every single Vivasaur we can get up to this point, we can only get 25 points. That's half a level. 50 battle points is 450 donation points, 75 is 640, and then 100 is 800 donation points, which is the equivalent of every single Wondrous fossil that we could buy here, since they are all 200 donation points. Which might give you the same amount of stat boost, if I'm being honest. It's just not worth it to buy these at all. And I highly recommend either buying the Vivasaurs or buying the masks. And those are really the only thing I would recommend using donation points on. And to prove my point even more, I went around and I got basically every single Vivasaur we can get up to this point. Going through all of my Vivasaurs. There's a couple I'm missing still, but you can see all of the different Vivasaurs that we have right now. And if I go over, or if I scroll up to my team, we can actually view them. And you can see they all look a little bit different. And that's because each and every one of them has a miraculous fossil rock, or not miraculous, a wondrous fossil rock, or a silver fossil rock, equipped to them. Meaning I found at least 3 extras because we only had one of them. And not only did I find 3 extras while digging around, I actually found 4. That should tell you how easy it is to find these things if you're just running around and digging. It's crazy how quickly you can find these if you are just trying to fill out all of the Vivasaurs in a certain place just by running back and forth. That's why I don't recommend buying them at basically all costs. But with that being said, we now are tasked to go find Joni, and Joe actually gave us the advice to go talk to some of the people out in the town. So that is what we are going to do. And actually, I believe there's only like 2 people here, and I want to talk to this guy. Hey, Bamboo, how I used to fish in the stream next to my house. Them were the days, I tell you. Yes, I remember the last with the dogs on board a helicopter I did. All right, well, Grandpa, that's just kind of looking at this very slow-moving water, told us that she got on a helicopter, meaning she's probably not on this island anymore. So that narrows it down to at least 2 different islands. And I think I actually want to head over to Rubular Island first. All right, on Rubular Island, let's go ahead and ask around. Hey, kid, you seen a dog? There's a humongous giant fish tank in the lobby of Ilium Village. Is fighter station. Huh? A lady with a dog? Yeah, I just saw them. They said they were going to the jungle labyrinth. All right, well, that did not take long at all. They really lost her, and they could have asked 2 people where she was. What do you have to say? Do you say the same thing, actually? Did you know some flowers actually sap health from their plant friends? I just watched a battle where E-Raptor did the same thing with an opponent's FP. Weird, huh? Huh? A lady with a dog? Yeah, I just saw them head towards Jungle Labyrinth. Oh, well, that we are hearing about Vivasaurs we haven't even seen yet. But now we need to just head into Jungle Labyrinth to go find Joni and her dog. And actually, because we have access to this weird well or odd well, I think we are going to use this. Because I feel like she's probably going to be in the back rather than in the front. No, little doggy. Don't squirm now. You have to be a nice little doggy. Arf, arf, arf. Stop this. Madam Butch she does not like you. Wrong again, sister. All dogs love me. I have this natural way with animals, see. I don't know why I made him French, too. Don't you love me, little Bucci? Who's a happy puppy, huh? Who's a happy puppy? I just looked over. My dog's giving me the weirdest look. You're coming home with me, aren't you, Whittle Smoochum? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Hey, lady. You're starting to mess with my dog bonding here, so why don't you get lost? That is, unless you want me to clean your clock in a fossil battle. Pate block! I must make with the rescuing of Madame Pooch from this terrible oath of a man. But I cannot fight the fossil battle. Oh, what shall I do? And we just appear from the jungle at the perfect time. I don't even think that's the direction we came from, but why not? Ah, it is my friend Phoenix. You are here at just the right time, no? Please, you must make the fossil battle with the terrible man to save Madame Pooch. All right, dude. Stop doing whatever you're doing to the dog. I ought to smack you with a rolled up newspaper, kid. But if you want a fossil battle, bring it on. Yeah, I'm gonna stop you from gyrating in front of this dog. All right, kid. Time to show you who's the real alpha dog here. All right, starting off our battle with the dog Kappa. We get to go first, thanks to mostly Trima. And before we actually attack, I want to point out that this guy brings a water type and 2 fire types, which is why I brought Eros and or Zephyr and Harpy. But I also brought Rock just to boost up my attack a little bit more. And I also want to point out, this is a new Vivisor we haven't seen, and also it is terrifying. It has 53%, or it has 53 attack and 58% boost to its attack because of the 2 Machis, which makes it the biggest threat on the battlefield, and I recommend taking it out as quickly as physically possible. Luckily, these things are only rank 3, so we still aren't like super deep into like terrifying territory or anything, but I just wanted to point out how terribly strong that thing is. Like, it has basically almost 80 attack just because of the boost. When actually, if I look, Zephyr has a lot more attack than it does, but Zephyr is an attacking type Vivisor, and Heracles is not. So it's just terrifying. It also has like just a massive amount of LP. 224 at this point in the game is a lot for Vivisors, considering the 2 lackeys in the back have less than 100. So we're just going to kind of blast it and hope for the best. Oh my god, that took it out in 1 hit. I knew it was going to do a lot of damage, but goddamn. You know, that's perfectly fine with me. I'll take it. That just leaves him with the 2 fire types, which I am not worried about, considering they have, like I said, less than 100 LP each. How dare you hit my bird? I think he's gonna do it again, actually. Yeah, I mean, he's doing the smart thing, which means I can't really be mad about it, but also, how dare he? And for that transgression, we are going to hit you with an Eros alert. Zephyr, take this dog down! Oh, that's more than enough. We haven't even needed to rely on Link yet. Or at all. Because I'm hoping not to have to rely on Link. That takes up the Inflame, so we don't have boosted attack anymore. And that's gonna... Oh, I was almost certain that would take Rock out. Parting Blow is activated. And I think what I'm going to do... We can't do that. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to Inflame Harpy. And then Harpy's going to attack. And if that's not enough, then we will have 70 left exactly to Wind Blast with Zephyr. So I'm hoping this Running Smash... Oh, that's definitely enough. Honestly, not the hardest fight in the world, but you need to bring a good air type to take out that Heracles, or it can get very bad very quickly. And we get 5 points for that battle. No! How can this be when I love my Widow Bitsy Witsy so much? Just got bit by this tiny dog. Yeah! You bit me! My little fluffy wuffy bit me on the waggy waggy! I'm starting to think this dog doesn't like me. Wah! Arf, arf, arf. Madame Pooch, you have suffered the terrible ordeal, no? But now all is well. I cannot thank you enough, Phoenix. Had you not made with the coming by just now, Hmm? You say you were searching for the two of us? Ah, la carte! Minister Barbosa! He is here? There she is! No, I saw her first. Minister Pomposa is waiting for you, Princess. Please, Princess, you must let us escort you to Wild West Tower. Oh, I'm sorry, but you are making the mistake. I am not Oh, the princess was just princess napped again. I brought the princess back. No, I brought the princess back. You had to give me the miraculous fossil rock. You promised. No, I saw her first. I'm the one who gets the fossil rock. Thomas! Northland, where is the princess? What? What do you mean? She's right here. Joni is the princess. Oh, joy of joys! She has returned! It is pretty Pooch. Minister Barbosa is so glad to so very relieved to see you safe, Your Highness. What? Okay, somebody better explain what's going on here and fast. I am sorry, no? But the princess you have been searching for is Madame Pooch. She is called Madame Pooch to hide the identity. But her true name is Princess Pooch Pomchinian? I am, how you say, her attendant. Yes. Her Minister Pomposa can explain. For many years, the kingdom of Nuclear was constantly at war. The people were wary of conflict and came to believe it was caused by the frailties of human leaders. So one day, they decided to make a dog the new king. That seems desperate. But in the end, the plan was successful. The war ended, and the people were united in peace. Since that day, the kingdom of Jupiter has always been ruled by a dog. And of course, the ruling family is all canines as well. You know, this would have been really good information to know earlier. Your people have been so concerned for you, Princess Bruce. The dear Mother Queen has refused to play with her favorite ball. And Her Majesty and His Majesty the King cannot even gather the strength for his daily territorial markings. Minister Pomposa, you must not make with the chastising of Princess Pooch. It was I who allowed her to make to allow her out of the palace. She asked for my help, and I could not refuse. It is your desire to engage us as wells. Really so strong, Princess. Bark, bark. Very well. In that case, Minister Barbosa sees no harm in staying. Here until the next match. But first, you must hear this message from His Royal Highness, King Bootschund. If the princess is serious, in purpose, and pure in spirit, I shall give her my blessing to follow her dream. However, Minister Barbosa must have had this passion personally. Ah, Princess Pooch! This is so wonderful, no? If Minister Pomposa sees your passion for the battles, you can continue in the cup. A wolf! Now then, it seems you are the one who found our missing princess. As Minister Barbosa, it is a man of his word. You shall now receive your reward. And with that, we have finally received the miraculous fossil rock. Princess Pooch wishes to thank you for your assistance of earlier. No? Well then, Minister Barbosa, we'll see the charms this fossil park has to offer. One month, Princess Pooch, she wishes to give the minister a tour. How delighted she must be. Hold on, Joni. There's something I don't understand. You're the one doing the actual battling, right? Is Princess Pooch all right with that? Au contraire. The battles, they have all been waged by Princess Pooch herself. Myself, I have only been pretending to be the fighter, no? The princess could not let people know her true identity. Also, I do not think they would allow a dog to enter the cup, no? I do. So a dog advanced in the cup, but I got beat. Oh, man. Heck, Phoenix, looks like you done went and saved the day again. But thanks to you too, Todd, Pal, and Pauline, I know y'all gave it your best shot. The hot spring at Hot Spring Heights is now open. Our guests are welcome to use this facility for free facility. Well, it took a good long time, but we finally got that darn hot spring open. Y'all should check it out. It's a good place for smoking your old bones and clearing the dust from the trail. Hey, yeah, a hot spring would be just the thing to heal my wounds. I'm gonna check it out, Phoenix. You should come along. You two have fun splashing around in the pool. I'm going to get ready for round 5. Since I didn't win the prize, I'll have to earn my victory the old-fashioned way. Alright, well, we now have access to the hot spring of Hot Spring Heights, but we did just receive this new type of fossil rock, so I think we should go clean it. You have at least one miraculous fossil rock with you, Deed. If you successfully clean one, you can choose a Vivisaur on which to use the gold fossil. Something amazing happens to any Vivisaur that has a gold fossil used on it. Sweet! However, a gold fossil can only be used once, so choose carefully. What? How may I serve you? We are going to clean by hand because we need to go over this new miraculous fossil rock. So, getting into the miraculous fossil rock, it works almost the exact same as the wondrous fossil rock, where the fossil itself is actually fragile, the same exactly as the wondrous fossil rock. But the biggest difference of it is actually there's a couple. But the biggest difference in terms of cleaning is that every single miraculous fossil rock is going to be a head fossil. So there's no arm or leg or body shenanigans you have to think about. While cleaning these fossils, it's always going to be a golden head fossil. And I'm actually going to hit over here because I want to see a little bit better. And the head will always look the same. And the miraculous fossil rock, or the gold fossils, also give bonus stats to your Vivisaurs, just like the silver fossil rocks do. But the stats that they actually give are very much more substantial than the wondrous fossil rock, because a gold fossil rock will always boost a Vivisaur's stats by a lot. Basically, if you can clean it to 100 points, The LP that a Vivisor receives from it is 100 extra LP, and then it boosts every single other stat except for crit rate by 5 points. So you get 5 extra attack, 5 extra defense, 5 extra accuracy, and 5 extra speed on top of that. I unfortunately only got 99 points on this, so I won't be able to show that very clearly. But something that Kling said isn't actually true. He said that any Vivisor that is given a golden fossil has something very unique happen to them. But that's not entirely true. And to show what it actually does, I'm going to give mine to Zephyr here. A super fossil is already integrated. If you do so again, the appearance will change and stats will become LP plus 38, attack plus 5, defense minus 1, accuracy minus 6, speed plus 6. Commence integration. Yes. And once a gold fossil is integrated into a Vivisor that has the correct attributes, this happens. Say hello to Super Evolution, or Super Evolvers, as they are coded into this game. And Eros is no more. Eros has evolved into Tefla. There are 30 different Vivisors that, when are given a golden fossil, will super evolve. We actually get access to several of them right now. To be specific, 15 of them right now. But because there are so many Vivisors that can super evolve with this fossil that we just got, and because you could technically evolve any of them right now, I think we should go over all of them right now. So, first up is Tefla. And to preface these Super Evolver bios, I want to say that I am only going to be talking about changes that happen between the base form and the Super Evolve form that are mostly negative, because you want to know why you want to get them or if you don't want to get them. So saying every single one of them have better stats, all of them have better skills, none of that really matters, because every single Super Evolver are like that, and only some of them have stats that are lower or stats that don't really make sense. I'm also going to be talking about stats without the boost from the Fossil Rock, because the Golden Fossil Rock always gives a boost, so every single Super Evolved form will have the boost from the Fossil Rock. So even if I say something like, oh, Tefla has lower speed or lower accuracy than Eros, going from 42 to 36, it's actually almost exactly on par if you add in the extra 5 you get from a 100% Golden Fossil Rock, since you get an extra 5 points on top of that, bringing it to 41. So it's really hard to talk about them without talking about that. So I'm just going to leave that out and just talk about the stats without the Fossil Rock, because I can't say if you're going to get 100 points or if you're going to royally mess up and only have a 50-point Golden Fossil Rock. So we're just going to start with, it has good stats. All of them go up, except for, like I just said, the accuracy. The biggest thing about Tefla is that Tefla is the only Super Evolved form that does not have support effects. Like, 0. Not good, not bad. Basically the exact same as Eros. That just means if you're going to put it in the support zone, it doesn't really belong there, because it does a lot of damage, and it's a close-range Vivisor. So it really doesn't help you if you put it in the support zone, and it really wants to live in the attack zone. But next up is Equinus, which is the evolved form of Toba. Equinus has several things going for it, actually. It has the highest natural speed of any Vivisor, meaning if it is on your team, you are almost always going first in battle, which is just a good thing. It also trades 20% of its attack and defense support effects from when it was a Toba, putting all 40 of those percents into evasion, basically meaning when it's in your support zone, it is not helping with your attack and defense as much, but making your attack zone Vivisaurs harder to hit. But next up after Equinus is Lugmas, which is Dimetro's evolved form, and has kind of weird things happening to it. First off, it has lower defense and crit rates than Dimetro. It also loses FP absorb, meaning when it gets hit, you're no longer gaining the extra FP from getting hit. It also trades a skill that hits all of your opponents for a 50% scare skill, which is an awful trade. And it trades strictly good support effects for mixed support effects, which boost your opponent's attack and defense while lowering their accuracy and speed, albeit they are higher negatives than positives and higher negatives than its base form. But due to losing a lot from its base form, this is actually the first Vivisaur I kind of don't recommend super evolving, at least not immediately. There are several ways to get miraculous fossil rocks, as well as just digging them up, and you probably have more than one Vivisaur on your team right now that can super evolve. So I would recommend prioritizing other Vivisaurs first and letting Dimetro just be Dimetro, because Dimetro is already so good. But next up is Bolgon, which is, of course, Sintao's evolution. And I would say this is the most interesting of the super evolvers of the starters. Let's start with the bad. It gets a massive decrease to both its defense and its crit rate, which are not great things. But it means it wants to sit in the support zone more, which is actually good because it has insane support effects. An insane support effect spread minus 99% to your opponent's defense and evasion, basically just taking out attack type Vivisaurs without them even knowing what's happening. 99% of anything is just an insane amount to take away and cripples any Vivisaur. I would also have to say it loses the link ability, meaning it's no longer a backup Vivisaur. But with those support effects, I don't really think it matters because it's just so good. But next up is Heracles, which is actually the evolved form of Tricera, and we actually just fought a Heracles. So let's go over what we just handled. It has lower accuracy and speed. It loses its parting blow ability, but it has an interesting support effect spread, increasing your attack and accuracy, but decreasing your defense and speed. Meaning, by using Heracles, you are making your attack zone Vivisaur somewhat of a glass cannon by making them hit like a truck, but making them not be able to really take or avoid any hits either, which is kind of a give and take situation. So if you are going first in a battle and using something that really likes to hit everything for a lot of damage very quickly, this is the perfect Vivisaur to pair it with. But moving on from that is Giga Raja. And if it wasn't obvious enough, it evolves from Raja. It's a pretty straightforward upgrade from Raja, making it even a better attacking type Vivisaur. It has mostly bad support effect, but you're not really using it in the support zone anyway, and you really just want to put it in the attack zone so it can just demolish other Vivisaurs on your opponent's team. But moving on from that, next up is Nikto 8, which is the evolved of Nikto. And it is the only super evolved form that doesn't keep its same fourth skill. Because, like, every other evolved or super evolved form keeps its fourth skill. So Tefla has Law of the Jungle, so on and so forth. But Nikto Ace does not keep it. At least, not in name. It keeps it in spirit because both of the skills in its base form and its super evolved form have the exact same effect, which is 80% rotating your opponent. So it doesn't really matter that it doesn't keep it, but it's kind of funny that they're like, oh, let's change this, but actually give it the same effect because I like that effect. Other than that, it loses most of its crit rate from 50 to 15, which is an insane decrease. It also loses FP+, so you're not getting any extra FP once you evolve. And it becomes a much better support Venusaur because it gains much better support effect. But other than that, it's mostly negative. So it's, again, a lot of give and take for this Super Evolved form. But next up is Barbaros, which is Stego's Super Evolution. And actually, what I was alluding to in Stego's original bio, saying that it had one thing that really went in its favor, and that is Barbaros. But we don't gain access to it until here, so you're really stuck with a Stego until here. But Barbaros has lower speed and crit rate than Stego, and it loses auto counter. So why do I say it's actually a good thing for Stego? That's because of its support effect. It has a great increase to attack and defense, but it also lowers accuracy and speed. But that lowering is not as impactful because it's a lot lower of a percentage than, say, the other Venusaurs that lower those stats. So you aren't really worrying about it as much, and lowering it by 10 or 15% is not the worst amount that it can be lowered by. And giving them these support effects actually makes them a somewhat comparable or somewhat comparable support type Venusaur. But moving on, next is Raiden, which is the evolved form of Bronchio. And this is just a strict upgrade to Bronchio. All stats improve, it loses nothing, and it gains good support effects. What else could you ask for? But next up after that is Papigon, which is Anato's Super Evolved form. But it halves its crit rate, it gains only good support effects. Even though it has bad support effects, they are the exact same bad support effect that Anato has, and it only gains the good support effects on top of that. So it's actually really good for it. And I just want to bring up its in-game description because it's very funny. Its in-game description reads, "It has been known to sting like a bee and dance like a butterfly," which is very funny for something that used to look like a duck and is very confused. But moving on from Papigon, which also I have to say is one of my favorite names in this game, is Didomio, which is Yango's evolved form. Didomio is the only Super Evolved form with Super Harden. So if you want a Venusaur that can Super Evolve and use Super Harden, this is literally your only option. But it also lowers Didomio speed and crit rate. Its support effects actually become mixed rather than just increasing defense, but it helps it make better tanks and actually puts it on par with how Ankylo can make tanks. Only, if you do the math, only being about 1 or 2 points off from what Ankylo can do. But speaking of Ankylo, next up is Galgaron, which is Ankylo's Super Evolved form. And Galgaron has lower attack speed and crit rate, but much better support effect. Its attack goes from -20 to -10, meaning you're nerfing your own Venusaurs less by Super Evolving, so just an increase. It also retains its ability to make steel walls, keeping the 99% increase to defense by its support effects, and keeping the harden skill, which just makes it a really good support zone Venusaur. But next up is Giga Aloe, which is actually the best of the Giga Venusaurs. There are 3 Giga Venusaurs. We talked about one already, being Giga Raja. This is the second one. And it being the best just means all of its stats increase. None of them actually decrease at all. It has mixed support effects. The +60 to attack is insane, but it also gets -30 to all of its other stats, or all of the other stats. But because it's an attack zone Venusaur, it's going to be in the attack zone. So you don't really have to worry about it. And when it is in the support zone, if you have another Venusaur that boosts accuracy, it's insane because you just get the plus 60% attack for free if you can get plus 30 accuracy on a different Venusaur. It's crazy. But next up is the last Giga Venusaur. It's Giga Spinax. And this thing is kind of weird because it loses speed and it loses auto counter and it gets worse support effect. So it's almost all negative with none of it being super great. It does work as an attack zone Venusaur, which is what you have to use it for now. While its base form could sit in the support zone and give some buffs, but you just can't do that with Giga Spinax. You have to use it as an attacker just because of the support effect. It's another one that I kind of don't recommend because of that. But our last new Super Evolved form that we can get right now is Despino, which is kind of funny because it's Spino, and I guess they just despined it. But it's a pretty strict upgrade. All stats increase, doesn't lose any skill effects, and its support effects become better, from negatively affecting your attack zone to mostly negatively affecting your opponent's attack zone. It's a pretty strict upgrade for a support type Venusaur, or it becomes a pretty good support type Venusaur. But with that, that is all of the Super Evolved forms we have access to as of right now. And moving forward, whenever we get access to another Venusaur with a Super Evolved form, I will have the bio for the Super Evolved form directly after the bio of the base form, so you know which Venusaurs can Super Evolve. But with that being said, I think we're going to end this episode here. So, I hope that everyone enjoyed watching. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Next time, we have a hot spring to go to. But until then, happy adventuring.